for you, help you gain some valuable insights, and yeah, we'll go from there. But Greg, if you want to take it away when you're ready.
Cool. Thank you, Summer. Yeah, I just want to reiterate Summer's comments. Let's treat it as a classroom type environment. And if something rings a bell, then yell and scream. Let's ask a question straight away rather than forget about it 2 minutes later. And Anna, Pauline, Jovi, if you're comfortable, turn your cameras on. If that's a function, always love to see a face when we're having a chat. So let me click on my share and we'll get started. So we're just essentially going to go through a PowerPoint presentation today, team. So very quick background so you know who you're listening to. I'm born and bred Sydney. My background originally was in banking. So I was with the Commonwealth Bank for a couple of years. I thought I wanted to be an accountant. Thank goodness I changed my mind. My main background has been in manufacturing. So I made women's fashion shoes. I made fountain sauce. I made ice cream, all in operational management roles. And then as a frustrated builder, I joined the Hire a Hubby Property Maintenance and had 2 franchises with that association for 7 years. Sold those for a nice healthy profit and moved to Queensland, another operational management with a bakery company, maintenance manager at Landmark Resort down in Mooloolaba, and 5.5 years ago founded and started up Admin's the Answer because I found a need that basically wasn't being supplied. So my credentials are I've had 24 plus years managing very large manufacturing plants. I had my trades business for 7 and now this business of ours is over 5 years old. And there's our team, which is an old shot. There's another 3 people that are now or should be in that team. All Australian staff, all currently up here on the Sunshine Coast where I live. But we're going to have staff all over Australia eventually. I'm quite sure of that. So very quickly, what we do, we manage what we call tasks for trades businesses, and we only work with trades businesses in Australia. So we do everything looking after the most important person, and that's your customer. So if we can create a beautiful customer journey for your clients, we find they refer you to their friends and family, and we just want to take the headache out of managing their life away and making your life as the trade business owner as simple as it can be. And that's by us making calls. We can plan site visits. We follow up quotes. We schedule all your work for you. We do all your invoicing, chase people who haven't paid, receipts, very important. We do back costings. We'll talk about that in a minute. And a mixture of all of those. We can do all of those for you. We can do some of those for you. It's very individual. For some, we do absolutely all of this for some of the clients. For some, we just chase up their quotes and invoices. It's completely up to you. We don't pigeonhole you into what we'd like to do for you. That's completely up to you. Why we do it, this is very important and passionate to me. We're very involved in the mental health space, particularly around the construction industry. And you may or may not be aware of the statistic that's online. If you read that first line, I've crossed out the 6 and I've made it 8 because when I made this PowerPoint 2 years ago, the number was 6. Until recently, it's turned to 8. So a construction worker is now 8 times more likely to sadly pass away through suicide versus a work accident. When I first found that out about 8 years ago, it scared the crap out of me. And that stat should be on the local news every night. It's just not spoken about. But it darn well should be. Our little part to play, we have aligned ourselves with a company called a non-for-profit called Mentoring Men, not dissimilar to Beyond Blue and organisations like that, but our little part to play in what they do is we donate $100 to them every time a new client starts with us. So they have mentors that are tradies, they have mentees who are tradies. I'm on first name basis with the CEO. We talk a lot about what's happening out there in the mental health space. And as I said, our $100 is just our little way of saying we understand what you do and we want to support you. So that's enough about me. Getting stuck into our presentation. So my first up disclosure to you, team, is that Admin's the Answer are partners with Fergus software. So I'm going to be talking a lot about Fergus today. I've got some screenshots, etc. It doesn't mean that if you're not using Fergus, the conversation is going to be a waste of time. It certainly won't be. But I thought it best to tell you straight up that we are now partners with Fergus, and we, as in Admin's the Answer, made a decision late 2022 to only use Fergus for our clients in our business. And we are now what I would call experts in the program, and that's what we targeted to be, rather than pretty good at lots of them. And I know we certainly dig deep into Fergus and its capabilities on behalf of our clients. So why use a job management system at all anyway? So the first thing is to follow up quotes. And you can decide yourself now if you're doing a great job following up quotes or not. We find that the majority aren't. So this is a picture of a Fergus dashboard where basically the whole history of what is happening inside a business is available. So that little number 8 there, this is just a draft dashboard, obviously. It's not from a live account. But we can see there that there's 8 jobs whose time has expired, and those times are available to be adjusted. But my staff look at that and go, okay, well, that was 0 yesterday. So overnight, 8 now have expired, and I've got 8 phone calls to make and see if we can get some of these turned into actual work. So it gives us precise information. What we have had from a roofing company in Sydney, and these are stats over the last 2 years, that for every 10 quotes that he sent out, 6 got replied to by the customer. Some were yes, some were no, but only 6. So we had the job of following up the other 4. And our stats were shown that with some professional, courteous, timely follow-up, on average, we've had 1.5 of those 4 say, yes, actually, I'd like to get the job done. Bottom line is people are busy, and even if a quote looks good, they just don't get around to saying yes. Our follow-up really prompts that, and then we take that further into Fergus and start scheduling the job in that phone call, worth an absolute bucket of money to that roofer. And so what that means for you is there's less leads required. You chase less leads because we're converting more of the leads you get. You obviously get more revenue from the leads you receive, and the time to quote is being repaid because it costs you money to quote. And if we're not following up, then we're really just burning that money. Chasing unpaid invoices. Some people like doing it. Some people detest the thought. Again, this same draft dashboard shows that there's 8 invoices that are outstanding. So my team would look at that each morning and go, right, well, there's 8 calls that I need to make to try and chase up some money. We have had a plumber in Sydney who's basically his outstanding invoices are now basically 0 because he's either getting them to pay on the day or we're chasing up those who haven't paid his payment terms. What that means for you is that cash flow is better managed. Obviously, I've had clients who now don't have to have a bank overdraft, so we're not paying the bank extra money, and certainly the stress relief of having more money in the bank for your next job is very much reduced. Example 3, appointment setting. So we do appointment setting for a number of clients. As an example, this is a very simple example of a calendar. The calendar doesn't need explaining. It's just showing you that Fergus has a calendar function. But we make appointments for a couple of companies who get their leads through a call center. So my team pick up those notifications. We call that customer for the first time. We've got all scripts that deal with that, depending on the company we're calling on behalf of. And our goal is to get that appointment into the calendar so the tradie can go and visit. And obviously that calendar is shared with the tradie as well. And he looks at his calendar and basically looks at tomorrow and says, I wonder where Greg's team is sending me tomorrow for some quote visits. We have a renovation company in Brisbane that we do. That's an example of a company who gets their leads through a call center, and we're calling that customer and getting them site visit scheduled. So what that means for you is there is certainly a better return on advertising spend because people aren't falling through the cracks. Your competitors, very importantly, are not being contacted. So if we've made a appointment, customer says, happy days, my pain's taken away, at least I'm going to get the company to come and visit. I don't need to get back onto Google. And obviously then you need less leads for a better overall result. And a final example is confirming appointments. I don't know if you guys have ever turned up to an empty house, even though it's been in the calendar and even though we've planned that. So we confirm appointments the day before. Again, simple snapshot of a calendar. We have a kitchen company in Brisbane and we confirm all of their appointments the day before. It gives us an opportunity to remind the customer, obviously. So maybe that appointment was made 3 weeks ago. But it also gives us an opportunity in that phone call to replan. They may have forgotten and they say, oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten. I can't be here tomorrow at 10:30 as planned. Well, that phone call doesn't end until we have rescheduled that. So 24 hours before the tradie was meant to be there, we've already replanned it and potentially slotted in another one, maybe bringing one forward, etc. But you're not turning up to an open house and just wasting your time and money. So that means for you is that customers are reminded, obviously, you're coming, you're not turning up to an empty house. And as I said, rescheduling can be done the day before, not after you've found an empty doorbell. So I asked a few of our clients a couple of weeks ago what life would be like if you did not have a job management system inside your business. And some of their replies are here, and I've just highlighted a few. One guy said, I don't think I'd have a life. Two of the guys used the word, it would be hell. An next guy said he'd be completely stuffed. And the fourth guy, now nothing gets missed, including things like sending invoices for work that's completed. I thought also I'd grab a little snippet. I've recently done some foundation training with an existing Fergus user who's been using the program for 4 years. And he reached out and said, I think I just need to go back to day one and have a little bit of a catch up, etc. So we've done some training with him. And I asked him the same question, and I just wouldn't mind replaying. Oh, I don't think I turned the sound on, Summer. Are you able to do that?
I think that has to be done when you share your screen.
All right. Hold me 2 seconds, team. I'm going to reshare, and I'm going to click the button.
Tick the box, yeah.
Yeah, my apologies. Cool. You give me a thumbs up, Summer, if the sound's coming through. Quick question, completely not related. If you didn't have Fergus in your business and you were trying to run what you're doing now, and it's a serious business you've got, mate, through post-it notes and paper diaries, tell me what life would be like.
Fucking horrendous.
I'm going to quote that.
Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Cool.
The time that it has saved me.
Yep.
And the time it saves me is phenomenal.
Yep.
My wife has my Fergus login.
Right.
So if she needs me to be somewhere, she will blank it out in my calendar.
How good's that?
Because different story on a weekend, because I don't work weekends and I don't look at Fergus over the weekend.
Yep. Cool.
Or try not to.
Yep.
But if she needs me somewhere Monday to Friday between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m.,
yep,
put it into Fergus.
How good.
And if it's in Fergus, I'll be there.
How good.
What it saves us quoting wise and just, you know, having the financial snapshot of just, you know, looking at what I've got to invoice, what I've, you know, quantities of quotes that we've got outstanding, and just being able to see what's owed to me on one platform rather than having to log in and out of Xero and stuff like that is amazing. Even looking back, if I was a one-man band again, I would still have a job management platform. I wouldn't go back to doing it pen and paper.
Quick question. Cool. There's some advocacy for a job management system, if ever I've heard it. So what we do know is that people start a business for one or more of these 9 reasons, and there's really no other reasons that we choose to take on the risk and the pain, but the pleasure of running our own business. What we do find, and what I did find personally, and what I see in our clients' lives, is we get into a bit of a downward spiral. So we may have come in with a lack of business 101. We're certainly great at our trade, but as we all know, there's a whole heap more to running a successful business than being good on the tools. We wouldn't know where to find the help. We don't ask for help. And we think working longer and harder is the solution. I most certainly did. And the only thing that happens is stress, anxiety, health issues, etc. And sadly, for some, the business becomes their enemy, certainly not the vehicle for their dreams that they thought it was from day one. So the big thing for me is being busy versus being effective, because let's be honest, we can all say that we're busy. So when I looked up the word effective and efficient in the dictionary says effective is producing a result that is wanted. And efficient means, from the dictionary's point of view, capable of producing desired results without wasting materials, time, or energy. Fairly self-explanatory. So producing a result that is wanted. And I ask you, what is it that you want? Because we're all different. What I do find when I've asked this question is those 3 highlighted ones come up more often than not as to why someone has started a business. They want some extra cash. They certainly want to be free from a financial position and have more spare time. That's their desire. And then I ask the question, how is that going for them right now? And as you may guess, we get a myriad of answers to that question. So let's first agree on one thing, that we are all busy, and we're not just doing the work. We're certainly not just doing the work. We are often all of these roles and then some, on top of being on the tools and being out there trying to maximize our billable time. And that's what happens. We just burn ourselves out. So a first moment of honesty is that if we're trying to do all of those things ourselves, they're either not done very well, or in some cases, not even at all. As a side story, I spoke to a Sparky about 2 months ago, and he quite comfortably suggested to me that last financial year, he hadn't invoiced for about $40,000 worth of work. I don't get that. I understand it. I've been in this business long enough to know why, but that's just one example from one tradie. We have a road to nowhere, and that's very sad. We need to know where we're going when we get up every morning. And so I'm going to suggest a little side of where do we start. And unfortunately, it's all about your numbers. And if you are into maths and into numbers, great. If you're not, I get it, but you need to be. So the full disclosure, there's a statement there. I'm not your financial advisor, so this is educational. You should certainly seek for your own business facts and circumstances of your individual situation, but I'm going to give you some thought provokers, I hope. So I always start and have started with my business, and when I talk to clients, with $3 figures to talk about. We need to know how much we need to earn. We certainly know we need to know how much our business costs to run, and that's easy now. We're only 2 weeks into the new financial year. That's a 2-minute printout of your P&Ls from last year. And then how much revenue are you targeting to generate this coming financial year? That decision, I'm going to suggest that all of those numbers should be readily available now and even talked about. So I'm going to give you a quick example. If you need 120 grand, let's suggest this business is the only income generating business for you and your family. So all of your family expenses have been added up, and I'm happy to supply a spreadsheet, Summer, to anyone who wants a copy of that to help compute all of that. And then we do know from last year how much money the business did cost us to run, and I've just nominated 215K, and I've just nominated that we're going to try and target a turnover of 1.5 million this coming financial year. Just with those three numbers, when we add up how much you want to earn and how much the business costs, then at a minimum, we need to generate 335K left over out of our 1.5 million that we turn over. And if we look at those two numbers, 335 of how much we want to take out of the business or spend running the business and how much revenue we're targeting, then if we do that division, we see that 22.3% of the money that we turn over this financial year needs to be allocated to pay you and to run the business. What you do with that 22% is a whole other conversation, because that's about how you quote. But every job, I'm going to suggest in this example, when you put your labour costs in, you put your materials in, the next thing you're putting in is a 22% to pay all your overheads and pay yourself. Every job should have that 22.3%. And that's even before you've started putting a profit in of 10 or 15% that your company wants to make as well. So where does Fergus help? Fergus helps because our numbers don't lie. And this is a snapshot of a report called a work in progress report out of Fergus. This is alive, and that's why I blacked out a few of the customer names, etc. So what we see is we know how much we've invoiced this particular job, this particular customer. We know how much it's currently cost us, and it's actually giving us the margin right now. So this one, for example, we've invoiced nearly $250,000. It's cost us 156,000. And so it's currently running at a margin of 36.16%. Every time we put a cost in there, or every time we put an invoice in there, that margin updates itself, and it allows the business owner to keep an eye on it, knowing, if we use the other example, he needs 22.3% to pay him and keep the business running. So he can keep an eye on it, and Fergus helps us do that. There's nothing you need to do in Fergus to produce. It does it all for you, obviously, apart from putting materials in and getting you guys to allocate their labour time. Because some jobs you should be saying no to. Sounds crazy, but if you've got your 22.3% number known to you and you're putting all of your quotes together and it comes up at 12%, well, you might want to make a decision that that's not the job for me, or make an adjustment so that you are getting paid and your business running costs are covered. And so for you, what that means is you have work that is of a higher return, and you certainly are less stressed trying to get jobs finished that eventually end up in little profit. We've got clients now who don't work Saturdays because they're earning the same amount of money Monday to Friday. And their sense of achievement, and certainly knowing where your finances are, certainly rests their head on a pillow at night with a little bit more ease. And so my second moment of honesty is that we are all business owners. And I'm talking to plumbing companies today. I respect that. But you're business owners first. We're not plumbers, sparkies, landscapers, roofers, dog groomers. We've got all of these clients in our business. They're simply the trade we're in. We're all business owners, and we all behave that way. So let's be busy doing the valuable work and keep putting a smile on his face. And then this is how we then help. My personal story is I dreamt one day when I had my trades business that all of these things were being done for me because I was doing them all myself, and very quickly getting into that downward spiral. And the day the penny dropped for me is when I had a customer call me and said, Greg, I haven't received your quote. You told me you were going to have it to me on Tuesday. It's now Thursday afternoon and I haven't received it. So I started letting myself down. I started letting my company down, and I started letting our customers down. It was the last thing I wanted. So I then wrote out this dream list about 7 years ago. And for me, I dragged my wife, as many have done, kicking and screaming into the office and said, there's my job management system, there's my phone, I'm out of here. And that's how we got started. What it did continue to do is cost us money, though, because Kath certainly wasn't trained in what we do, although she's a very strong part of our current company now, but not then. So why have admin done externally? I pinched this. This is way back in 2017. I pinched this, and it's basically saying as businesses get busier and more customers come in, the business needs to add people. And it's not just trades people on the floor, it's office people as well. The advantage of having it done externally is there's no recruitment costs, all of those things that I've added down the bottom. You're not worried about sick leave, not with when you're being managed by us anyway. Not that our staff don't take sick leave, but you're always covered. You don't have to worry about super. There's no training costs. And for us, there's no wasted time. You're not paying for someone to be in the office 38 hours. You're only paying for the time that we spend with you. So my last moment of honesty for you is that we hesitate to make change for a number of these reasons. And I can certainly circle a few of those if I look back and as to why I didn't ask Kath to help me sooner. I had that business for 7 years, and she started working at the start of year 6. So for the first 5 years, I was doing it all on my own, and I, to be honest, wasn't doing a very good job at it. And remembering that following up quotes, I wasn't doing that, but getting 1 or 2 out of the 4 that haven't responded, and then needing to see less people from a quote visit point of view, paid for itself basically overnight. This is off our website. For our company, we don't charge you by the hour. We charge you by the tasks we do for you. So everything I've mentioned before, from phone calls to scheduling to helping you send out quotes, following up invoices, etc., we call them tasks. And we keep a log of every task we do for you every day. And whatever package your weekly tasks get up to you, that's the package that you'll get charged at a fixed price per week. So the guys float. We might have a really busy week for one client, and then the next week they're doing a job for the whole week, and we've got less tasks to do. That's fine with us. We manage that. We manage that ebbs and flows, but we don't lock you into a package for that week 1 when we're busy. You'll get charged more. For the week 2, when you're less busy, you get charged less. We only use Fergus, as I said. It integrates directly with Xero, as obviously many job management systems do. And Fergus, which is why we chose it, or one of the main reasons we chose it, does a better financial analysis of jobs than any other program. And I say that with no bias. It's just the fact. You can tell from a job on its own how well financially you are performing. It even has some fancy tricks. We encourage all of our clients to put into a quote what we call admin recoup. So we're a paid service for them. They're entitled to charge for it. So this is an example of a quote where I've highlighted there that they have added $300 to this particular job to help pay for our service. And Fergus and Xero, we set it up. Fergus and Xero talk to each other. And this is a bad snapshot, but of course I didn't want to tell you who it was from. When you print out your P&Ls out of Xero, if it's linked to Fergus and we've set it up properly, you will see on your monthly profit and loss how much money you have recouped to pay for our service, as an example. So you'll know how much we charged you. We want your customers to pay for that, and Xero will tell you without you having to do anything whether you're fully covered or not. And if you are, we call that cost neutral. So our contract, there's no risk. We're a month to month only. We're not locking you in for anything longer than that. But I think people just stay. We don't even need the monthly. We don't even need the 12 monthly. There's currently 18 5-star Google reviews, and I've highlighted a couple of things that the team Our clients have said that the support has helped me scale. It's pleasant and easy. They're invaluable to us. One guy said he's kicking that he didn't do it sooner. That guy, Lucas, I nurtured him for 12 months before he started with us, and his review said, kicking myself, I didn't do it sooner. We take the drudgery out of paperwork. Honestly, couldn't do my job without them, etc., etc., etc. We're certainly making a difference to their lives. And one from the wife. This was a review that we had on our Google review from a wife. And this is what we are all about. If we're making a difference to the tradie and the wife sees that at home, man, that's, yeah, I find it hard. I get a little bit choked up, to be honest. We're making a difference to their family and their overall life. That is the coolest thing in the world. My summary of why a job management system is better than doing nothing at all is all listed there. A lot of what we've spoken about. All your communications are in one place. If you want to scale, you just keep doing what you're doing in the same job management system. It's really easy. It integrates with software. All your customers' information is in the one place, contact details, all their quotes, all their invoices. You just don't need to look anywhere else. And it makes people accountable. You can have all of your staff there, all of your employees, and you only have to open up one piece of software to find out what the hell's going on. And that brings us to basically towards the end. There's all my contact details. I'll leave that up for a second. For those members who have been kind enough to spend their valuable time coming today, and those who are listening also, all my contact details there. If you want to talk about our foundation work, which is getting up and running and getting you trained, I'm here today to offer a 25% discount on that. That's the equivalent of $450 in your pocket. And ongoing training, I'm happy to also offer a 25% discount on that. That's the equivalent of $210, not dissimilar to the training that I did with Brendan off that video. And I'll stop talking. That's basically me.
Thanks, Greg.
Does anyone have any questions for Greg?
And I apologise for the death by PowerPoint.
That was really good. Very helpful, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions at all? I'll either decide that you've tuned out, or I did a really, really, really good job telling you everything.
No, mate, it made sense from every angle for me.
Okay, cool.
I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. Is there? We're a bit early now. Do you any other exciting?
Will that be on the Master Plumbers page to look back at, Sarah, so I can show my partner when we have some time of an evening?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we have recorded today, so we will put that up. We have a whole webinars page on our website, which has a link to all the webinars that we've done, and we've done a couple with Fergus over the time as well. So if you want to hear from the CEO of Fergus and that kind of thing, then definitely check out one that we did. I think it was in May, the one that we did with Dan. And yeah, this one will be added to the list as well. But yeah, I think if no one else has any other questions, I suppose, yeah, just thanks everybody for joining. We will, send out a thank you email, which will have the recording as well. And Greg, I don't know if you want to share any information on that one, but we can add in some contact details and that kind of thing there.
Yeah, definitely will, and I'll share some links as well, Summer. So if Mark and Libby want to reach out and go, maybe I've got a couple of questions now post the presentation, I'll put some calendar links in there, and you can just find a convenient time, and yeah, we'll get together one-on-one.
Sure, sounds good. All right, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
All right, thanks everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good weekend.
Thank you for coming along.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.